Hi, we're David and Tracey Goss, and we're here to introduce our new program, A Love Story in Black and White.
Consider a couple embarking upon the journey of marriage. Two people coming together with different perspectives, different ideas, different opinions. The chances of them drifting apart over time are pretty great.
As marriage coaches, we like to steer couples back together toward one another again if they have drifted apart.
For our new show, A Love Story in Black and White, we could really use your help. So please submit to us questions and topics that you'd like us to cover on one of our shows.
We're looking forward to having you journey with us. Now, you'll see an email address at the bottom of your screen. That's where we would like you to direct your questions and topics for discussion. We look forward to taking this journey with you.
Hello and welcome to A Love Story in Black and White. I'm Tracey Goss and this is my husband, David Goss.
We're glad you're joining with us. Now, here's what's going to happen today. We're going to be touching on a topic, race, and specifically our biracial relationship, and some of the issues that have come up over the years, our 20 years together of marriage. And this might generate some questions from you. And we want you to submit those questions on the email address you're going to see there on your screen for future programs. They might be a follow-up question for what you're going to hear today. We're glad you've joined with us.
And if you have questions about anything under the sun having to do with marriage, relationships, or family, feel free to ask those as well.
That's what we're here for.
How have you encountered people who show negativity toward you as a biracial couple, and do you have any advice for biracial newlyweds on how to bring your families together?
You know, by and large, we have not had really any animosity toward us as a biracial couple, with a couple exceptions, but they've been very few and far between. And one of the things that we like to tell our boys and other couples that we counsel is hey, you know, this is the best of both worlds. And we embrace and we try to teach our boys that they are from two cultures. We don't want them to dismiss their Anglo-white side or their African-American side or either one, but to embrace both of them. Who they are is a mixture of races and cultures and influences. And one of the things we do is we tell a lot of stories, and we're fortunate enough that we have really wonderful, loving, supportive, and very admirable families that are relatives on Tracey's side and mine. We just embrace family, and so we love to tell the stories of Tracey's parents and her grandparents and their family legacy and their history, and then mine as well, and the things that some of my relatives did. So they can take pride in both sides of their family.
I think realistically, early on, when we first met, I think before we got married, I think when people saw us together or heard that we were together, some folks in our family were very surprised, and you know, we got very serious very quickly. We were engaged really fast, and so it was an idea that took some people a little longer to warm up to, but once they warmed up to it, they were red hot happy for us and very supportive. And I think that if a couple feels the pressure to have everyone 100% on board when they first meet, that may or may not happen. They have to be patient. Give people time. Give people time to get used to the idea. Give people time, hopefully, to get to know the person, their spouse or their future spouse. Mm-hmm. And then as far as the families coming together, again, the cultures are very different, but we had a lot in common. Our families are both Christian. Our families have a lot of the same values, but culturally, very different. And so we would share stories about our families of origin with our spouse's family of origin. And over time, they got to hear different things about our families, and then as they began to spend more and more time together, they
loved
get along
each other.
great. Yeah.
One of the we know in our country there's a lot of racial tension still, and we're not far removed from the civil rights movement back in the 60s and 70s and the violence that accompanied that, and we still have a ways to go. We also feel, and we've shared this with other biracial couples, that one of the best ways to break down those racial barriers is kind of doing exactly what we're doing, just loving on one another, falling in love, having families together, and those stereotypes and that hostility, that fear, the walls that might have been there previously, they get broken down with the unstoppable, strongest force of them all, the power of love. So we take courage in that, and we try to share that message of hope that this is a pretty good weapon to wield against racism.
Yeah, for sure.
Is falling in love.
One of the other things that we like to talk to people about, you hear people say, "Oh, I'm colorblind," or we're like, we are not. We totally celebrate each other's cultures.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. You have your own culture, you have things that are different. We have a different perspective. We share, I shared this with a group of people not too long ago. We have the same history, like say as a nation, but we've experienced that history differently. So our perspectives could be totally different about the same point in time, right. Or the same thing, but our experiences are different. And so to be able to talk and share and be vulnerable enough to share your heart, to share your perspective, to share your experiences, and then to be mature enough to be able to really listen to the other person or the other family. And even if I guess it's the same if we weren't different races. There are people who are from different socioeconomic backgrounds, or two families coming together, period, are going to have to work through some things.
We could talk about race a lot, and we could perhaps do a whole season based on race. As Tracey mentioned, one of our pet peeves is, "Oh, I don't see color." Well, what do you mean by that? You don't see me? You don't hear me? I'm a person of color. Am I invisible to you? These are some of the questions that have emerged, and we've looked into those. What are the roots of those statements? I don't want to deal with the race question. I don't want to be pained or be made uncomfortable by having to look at some of my own stereotypes, some of my own prejudices that are hidden and buried maybe a layer beneath the surface, but are there nonetheless. And so engaging with a person, engaging in this kind of discussion is going to cause that shovel to go down into my own soul, into my own mind, my own history, my own personality. And that's uncomfortable. To change it all is uncomfortable. And so we'll be talking more about race in the programs to come. But thank you for that very good question.